Hello again. It's Rafe back for another little adventure, and today I've returned to the Laurels. You may remember the salamander hunt that we did at the Laurels last winter, where we found that little baby salamander about this big. And even though it is possible to find salamanders during the wintertime, you have a lot better luck in the early springtime, and that's what we're doing here today. We're going to be checking the stream side and seeing if we can find some stream side salamanders, and then we're going to be moving off into the woodlands and overturning some logs and looking through some mossy areas and see if we can't find some woodland salamanders. And so we're hoping for not only a greater number of salamanders today, but a greater variety as well. We are in the Appalachian Mountains, and this area has the most species of salamanders in a given area in the entire world. So we should be able to find a few things today. Come on along.
Okay, and a lot of times while you're looking for salamanders, you're going to come across other little critters like this little snail. Not exactly what we're looking for, but interesting. Alright, let's keep looking. Okay, success. Found a little dusky salamander right there. See him? And this one is more of a streamside species. And the stream is flowing right beside me. And let's pick him up and see if we can get a little better look at him. Now I'm going to try to scoop him up on a leaf because it's not really good to handle salamanders with your hands. Especially this particular species is a member of the lungless salamander family. They don't have lungs at all. They actually breathe right through their skins, and so you don't want to get the oil from your hands on their skins because it's really bad for them. Now this one is this looks like a northern dusky salamander. You can see he's got a little crest on his tail right there. It's kind of knife-shaped at the end, and so that's a northern dusky salamander. Whoops. Looks like he's wanting to go back into his little home, so we'll just look for another. Alrighty, and in our quest to find more salamanders, we've unearthed a millipede. And I actually know the name of this species. It's because I looked it up one time, some time ago, because I thought they were really neat looking. It's quite a mouthful. It's Appalachioria eutypa, I believe. And completely harmless, but very pretty. Just let him go along his way here and look for more salamanders. Alrighty, another success. I think what we're looking at here is a mountain dusky salamander. And I just kind of found him under a leaf and got behind the camera real fast, and he's really moving. The reason I can tell this is a mountain dusky salamander is, you'll notice, if you can see it, the tail is actually round. It doesn't have that knife edge to it that the northern dusky salamander had. And they're also a little bit smaller. And look at him go. He's quite a little jumper, isn't he? Yeah. He's trying to get out of the sunlight. They don't care for the sunlight very much. He wants to get back under his leaves. And pretty little fella. And even though I found him more up into the woodland area, he's not really considered a woodland salamander. So we'll look around a little more and see if we can find one of those. Here he goes. Okay, and here's another little example of the dusky salamander family. This is a seal salamander. You can tell because the colors are a little more brilliant. He's got a little more black on his back here and there. And also he does have that wedge to his tail, but it's only towards the very tip, if you can see that there. And so there you have it, a third member of the dusky salamander family, the seal salamander. Very cool. Okay, and here we have the black morph of the normally yellow and black tiger swallowtail. Anytime you see one that's this coloration, it's always a female. Kind of interesting. let her go on about her way and look for more salamanders. Will you look at the size of this salamander? This is also a northern dusky salamander. You can tell by that. Let me straighten this out. That knife wedge along the tail, and it's just huge, about 6 inches long, almost. You can see it compared to my hand here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful specimen. And I think I'm gonna just kind of zoom in a little bit here so you can see a little more detail. There we go. You'll notice those little lines along the sides of the salamander. Those are called coastal grooves, and they can be used to help identify the species by counting those. And another thing you might notice, even though this is a lungless salamander, they do have nostrils that's used to detect the scent of other salamanders and prey items. Beautiful specimen. Alrighty then, well there you have it. A successful salamander hunt at the Laurels. And this is actually the upper part of the Laurels that you're seeing, the pavilion and picnic areas and stuff like that in the background. Beautiful place to visit. It's in Carter County, Tennessee, right outside the town of Hampton. So if you have web access, you'll probably be able to look it up there and get directions. And I'm sorry we didn't get to see any woodland salamanders, but we did get to see the 3 species of dusky salamander in the area, so I'm happy with that. That'll work. Saw some beautiful wildflowers as well, and I'll throw that in the footage. I hope you enjoy it. So anyway, until next time, this is Rafe, signing off. Okay, now this is a special little segment mostly directed towards my younger viewers. Wanted to point out the differences between a salamander and a lizard, because structurally they kind of look the same. So we're going to point out some of those characteristics, and here's our old friend, the northern dusky salamander. The first thing you may notice is that a salamander has very soft, smooth-looking skin, whereas a lizard would have dry, scaly skin. Salamanders are amphibians, and so their skins are soft and moist, and this helps them to, especially in the lungless species, actually breathe through their skin, as I talked about earlier. Another characteristic, that's right, they don't have an external ear. You don't see an ear hole there. It's not that salamanders can't hear, it's just that their ears are hidden underneath their skin. Kind of a fascinating fact there. Now look closely at the feet. What do you notice? There are no claws on the toes. That's right. Salamanders have, some of them have what they call adhesive pads, things like of that nature, but absolutely no claws. So anyway, let's take a look at a lizard now. This is a female eastern fence lizard that I caught in the process of laying eggs. Let's slow this down a little bit in slow motion. Now look right at the base of the tail near the leg, the rear leg. Isn't that something? That's a really rare thing to come across. I didn't have a tripod, so the footage is kind of shaky, but it was really something fascinating to behold. Anyway, let's take a close look at this lizard. You'll notice that it has the dry, scaly skin, as opposed to the soft skin of the salamander. You can actually see the little scales on there. And that's to help protect them from their environment and keep their moisture inside, because they are terrestrial. They don't depend on water as much as salamanders do. Another thing, if you look very carefully, there is an external ear. You can't see it really good on this particular shot because of the angle, but if it were a profile shot, you'd be able to see that external ear a lot better. And in most lizards, that would be very obvious. And again, if you'll look at the toes, what do you see? That's right, lizards have claws on the ends of their toes. It looks like very sharp ones in the case of this particular little lizard here. So anyway, that's the distinguishing characteristics between salamanders and lizards for the most part. And I'm going to go ahead and run this video a little bit. I took some more footage. Here we go. You can see the egg a lot better in this one. And again, I'm sorry that it's so shaky, but I didn't have a tripod. I just happened upon this suddenly. Didn't have time to prepare for it, but I still got some pretty good footage nonetheless. Yeah, you can see she's watching me, even though I'm standing a good 5 or 6 feet away. And there's that egg. She actually ended up laying about 5 or 6. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this extra little segment, and again, just make sure to get out there and enjoy nature. This is Rafe the Explorer, signing off.